Right, okay, we're starting. Hello.
That was a mission.
My name is Catherine.
And I'm Tori.
And this is our first Flosstube.
So please forgive us for any technical difficulties and ums and ahs that will go on through this.
Plenty of those. So we've decided that we're going to call our Flosstube Neat and Not. And it's not with a K because Victoria is very neat.
I like to follow a pattern.
And I am not. And the back of my work is full of all sorts of unmentionables. And it's a not with a K because, you know, you can't miss a pun. Okay, so we thought we would start with talking a little bit about why we're doing a Flosstube. So I watch a lot of podcasts because I do a lot of crafts, and so I got Tori really interested because I got a bit overexcited and carried away. And we have been watching, what's the list? Maximum Cross Stitch Power Hour with Ellen.
Yep.
Egg Stitch MD. So I've finished. I'm up to date now with Egg Stitch MD, Nicole's Needlework, and Maximum Cross Stitch Power Hour. And I've watched a few of Jacob's from Modern Folk Embroidery, and now
You've just sent me his link. So I'm quite new to Flosstube. Catherine has been talking about it for a long time, but she only physically made me start watching them about a month ago. And so I have sort of been binge watching a lot of Flosstube and just watching who Catherine recommends at this stage.
cool. So the next thing we thought we would do is the Know Your Needleworker tag, just as an easy way to get to know us. So Tori will start, and so the first question is, where do you live?
So I'll answer this for both of us because Catherine and I actually both live. We're from New Zealand. We're in Dunedin, and we're both in a little suburb called Port Chalmers.
Yes, so we're right by the sea.
She-
Oh no, our Flosstube was supposed to be called Neat and Not by the Sea because we live by the sea.
Well, it's a harbour. So
Yes. We'll put some shots of that as well because it is a very beautiful place.
you'll be able to find out what we actually called this Flosstube when we post it.
Yes. And Tori said that we're from New Zealand. I'm not from New Zealand. I'm originally from Peru, and I came to New Zealand via England, but I've been here for 16 years, so this is home now.
Excellent. I'm born and raised in New Zealand. And so what's the second question?
What do you do for a living?
So I'm an architectural draftsman and I work in the local architectural practice in Dunedin. Catherine, what do you do?
I work in risk management.
Bizarrely enough, we actually met at work. We both worked for a period of time at the University of Otago, and we met there, and we've been craft buddies ever since.
Yes. Where I worked, it was right next door to the photocopy room, and so everybody came and chatted to me, and that's how I became friends with people. It was great.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of common because we like crafts.
Yes.
Do we have children? So there are 4 children in my family, so I'm in a blended family, and I have 2 stepchildren and 2 children that are not children anymore. The youngest is almost 19.
No. I've got 2 cats.
You missed this the next question. Okay,
Oh.
do you have any pets?
Oh, I've got 2 cats.
And I have a dog, and we love her, and she's called Star. And what are your cats called?
They are called Myrtle and Ollie.
Cool. Do you have any hobbies apart from stitching, cross stitch?
Yes, I like to read. I do other craft items. I do quilting. I like to think I knit, but it really is just scarves with large holes in it. Pretty much I'll give anything a go. I've done pottery courses before. I've done stained glass window making before. I'll give anything a go except for sport,
Yeah, no
which is just a
sport.
no.
Hobbies, I had to write mine down because really my whole life revolves around my hobbies. I knit a lot. I do quilting, I do hand quilting, I do embroidery, which is freestyle. I also do jewellery making, so I've started making jewellery. I've been doing that for about a year.
I thought you were doing a finger at the camera for it.
No, sorry, so this is my ring. This is the ring. So this one here at the top is a stone from a river, and I made the ring for it.
Clever.
I also do spinning wool for my knitting. I love reading, and I love traveling when it's possible. And the next question is, what's your favourite movie?
Oh, now, I always think that what's your favourite questions are stupid because it really does depend on the day, the time of week, the time of the month, whatever mood you're in. But I generally like any movie that I can stitch to. So any sort of big epic, anything, the BBC Jane Austens are great. The Lord of the Rings films are great to stitch to. What else have I? Yeah, I'll binge watch anything.
Well, because this is a crafty stitching thing, I'm like Victoria. I have so many films that I love, but I will mention Bright Star, a film by Jane Campion about Keats, and there is so much embroidery in that film. I love it. It's so beautiful. It's a period costume drama, very beautiful, and lots of embroidery. So if you haven't seen it, you should watch it. Bright Star. And the next question: what's your favorite show?
Anything I can stitch to. No, so what are we watching at the moment? Always love a new season of The Crown.
Love The
I've
Crown.
just finished watching It's a Sin, which is a great show that's recently out.
I don't think I think I'll get upset.
I didn't cry, but I
think I'll
stayed
get
up to 2
upset.
o'clock in the morning watching it because I couldn't turn it off.
No, see, I'm a crier, so I think I'll just get upset. So I do want to watch it. It's on my list.
Yeah, love Dr. Quinn.
Oh my God,
old throwback from the 90s.
Way back.
Yeah.
I love Bridgerton.
Yes. Yeah.
The costumes, like
Yeah.
everybody says, it was the costumes. So we're friends because we love the same sort of films. So
Any period drama.
period dramas, Jane Austen, BBC adaptation.
Yeah.
And we've just been to the cinema to see something which was called
Anna.
Ammonite.
With Kate Winslet in it.
And Saoirse Ronan, and that was beautiful, a bit slow at times, but lovely costumes and that sort of thing.
And dinosaurs. Or
yeah.
a dinosaur.
Yeah. Favourite book?
Favourite book? So, like in movies, I probably don't have a favourite book, but I should do a shout out to the Harry Potter series.
Apparently.
They were my go-to childhood book, and I really learnt to read on those, so they are still a favourite of mine.
And she is younger than me in case you haven't noticed. So,
But we won't tell you how old we are. Guess.
okay, so because this is a stitching thing, I will mention, I love lots of books and lots of authors, and I will bore you to death about them over the course of the podcast. But Tracy Chevalier, she wrote a book called The Last Runaway. So she wrote Girl with a Pearl Earring, which is the really, really, really famous one. But The Last Runaway is about quilting. It's not about quilting, but it has a lot of quilting in it, and so it's just sublime. You should watch it. You should read it. I hope they make a film. Anyway, favourite music?
Favourite music? See, I'm not a big music listener. I listen to podcasts and watch YouTube, but I don't really listen to music. Only band I can think of is the Spice Girls.
I love the Spice Girls.
Nothing wrong with them.
No. I grew up listening to classical music, so mostly classical music. I love Arvo Pärt. Spiegel and Spiegel is beautiful. My kids do keep me young though, so I do love Ed Sheeran. So I like lots of things, but I'm not the sort of person that puts music on, so I rely on my family for that. And what's one word that would best describe you, Victoria? I call her Victoria.
Oh yeah. The bad word for perfectionist, which I won't say on this one.
Oh.
Only retentive. I've just said it.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
You'll soon learn. If it's wrong, I'll unpick it.
Yeah, I'm not like that. Passionate would be the word that best describes me, I think. And big hair. That's 2 words.
Yeah, that's good. They're good words.
Cool. Okay, so what we thought we would do, because I really do too many crafts, but we want to call this Flosstube because I feel so passionate about cross stitch at the moment. It's kind of, I've rediscovered it, and this is what you've always done.
I've been cross stitching since I was very, very young. My mother and my sister did it, and they taught me, and we've always had a project go on the go, but something that I've always picked up and put down. So I haven't actually got a huge backlog of completed works, but there's a couple.
Cool. So what we thought is we'd do floss first, and then all the other craft at the back. So if people want to skip, if they're not interested in other craft, they can just skip that bit. Okay, so we'll start with the floss. So maybe the first thing is your whips. Do you have any works in progress?
I do have works in progress. So I've got 3. The first one is I have started doing the Snowflower Diaries, the calendar months.
Who did this? Because
So,
this is a freebie from the internet.
It is The Joyful World is all I've got on this. Designer is
Maya Matches.
and we'll put a link at the bottom of this to if anyone else wants to do these. They're absolutely beautiful.
So to follow a theme, I should say that I discovered this.
She did. I copied.
And really, I was just in love with the bird. And so we decided that we were going to do this. But of course, I'm not sure I can even follow a pattern. So Victoria's following this faithfully and doing it really well.
Oh.
I'm not. I'll show you later.
So I've started. I think it's on a 32 count linen, and I'm doing 1/1. So that's the start on that one. One I have been working on for ages is a giant Harry Potter, I don't know whether you call it a sampler. It was something to do in the evenings, and this is by Clouds Factory, and they're on a website, and I think I can't remember what I paid for it, but it's still available. And this one is almost complete.
Oh, hang on. Who designed this? So if people want to look for it.
Oh, it's on Clouds Factory.
Oh, Clouds Factory. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is almost complete, but I've just lost my mojo at the bottom border.
Put it near. Put it near so that people can see it.
Yeah.
Victoria's work is really quite exquisite. And
Again, it's 1/1 on a 32 count linen.
And isn't this blue stuff just stunning?
So that's where that is. I did a lot of that in lockdown at the start of this year.
You're almost finished though.
I am almost finished. I've just lost the mojo at the last border bits.
But we have done our own little crafty retreat once, and we're going again. We're going to try and do it twice a year.
Yeah.
And so you'll probably bring
I'll
that
pick that
along,
up.
won't you?
Yeah.
Because it's a fun thing to do. You know how to do it
And
really well.
the one I'm really into at the moment is one Catherine put me onto these. These are the Linen and Threads mystery samplers that they do each year. So I'm currently working on the 2017 one. I've only just started that. And where are we at? Again, 32 count linen, 1/1.
She's young.
It's not all I do, but I'm not quite blind yet.
She can see.
So that's where that's at the moment.
That is beautiful. And the blue
The blue is, it's just a DMC, I think it's 749,
is very beautiful.
but it's lovely.
It looks a little bit like you were saying that it made you think of willow pattern.
Willow pattern, yeah. So I'm doing it for my mum, who has a large collection of blue and white china in her kitchen, so she's going to hang it in the kitchen if I ever finish it.
Has she seen it?
Yes, she has, and she likes it.
Nice. Very good. Have you got
And
anything
that's
else?
all my whips, so I
Cool.
just thought I'd do 3.
Okay, so I have no sense of following a pattern, and I get bored, and then I have ideas and whatever. Victoria's super lovely and she tolerates me, but anyway, so I decided, I've got to move this out of the way. So I decided that I was going to do the same calendar, but the idea is that I'm going to cut them out and it's going to be part of like a daily, weekly calendar that I keep swapping. So I did the little fox. Is that fox or fox?
It's
a fox and a raven or a.
Raven sounds cool.
Yeah, my husband's really into birds, so he was like, "That's not a thing; it's a thing," because he would know the sizes and stuff. But anyway, so what I did is I did that one, and then I got bored of the patterns, and the pattern is lovely, but I just got bored. So I've decided that I'm going to do my own thing, and so I've done all the 12 months of the year in different styles, so that it's just a way for me to practice and to see, because I haven't done this for a long time, to see what I like. I don't know if you can see, but and I've discovered some things that I like. For example, I love this. It looks like lace to me. And so I've got 12. So there's that one that you can't see, and then there's this one that you definitely can't see. But anyway, and I'm just gonna make things up. Like we were very lucky to see orca in the harbour a couple of weeks ago, and so one little square is gonna have an orca there. The other thing that's important to me is that Spanish is my first language. I'm from Peru originally, and I go on about it. Being bilingual is really important to me. Nodding. It's like, yes, Catherine, yes, bless you. So everything is in Spanish. So that's enero, which is January in Spanish, and I've started the F for febrero. So yeah, and the designer actually did do all the months in different languages. And she did have it in Spanish, and I don't know where I've put it. So I'm making it up as I go. So that's one. And this is Zweigert, and it's 35 count. And I'm doing 1/2 because I am older and I can't see. So that's one. And then my other one is, I'm also doing the linen and threads. It was a mystery sampler for 2020, but I'm not, obviously it's gone. I'm not doing the mystery sampler, but it's this one, which is absolutely stunning. Very beautiful. And they did it in red. But I'm actually using DMC variegated orange. And because I'm trying, because I've started, I am unpicking when I go wrong. So that's as far as I've got. I do like it. I'm not 100% sure about the kind of peachy tones. I'm more of a bright colours person, but I think overall it's going to look nice. And I've made a mistake, so I've got to unpick now. But that's okay. Apparently it's all part of growth.
See, I think the orange, or the peachy tones as you're calling it, look fantastic. I think it's going to look amazing at the end.
Well, I hope so. I'm not going to unpick. I'm kind of a decisive person, so if I don't love it, I just won't buy that DMC.
Yeah. So you're doing it with a graduated thread, aren't you? It's
variegated,
not
yeah.
Variegated, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
So what is that?
So that's DMC 106.
Yeah.
And I actually went out and I bought these specifically because I didn't want to run out. Yeah, and it's a really lovely pattern. I was a bit worried because I haven't done a lot of cross stitch for a long time, and Victoria was very reassuring. So you'll be fine, and actually it is fine. It is quite geometric and quite straightforward, so it's going well. I'm happy. Cool.
Excellent.
So I've just got 2 of those.
Yeah, just 2 whips.
Yeah.
Right,
So the next thing is Craft Pantry. Do we have anything that we've added to our pantry?
I have one thing I've added to my pantry. I'm actually expecting an order from 123 Stitch, but because we live in New Zealand, who knows how long it's going to take to actually arrive. I ordered it like I think 2 weeks ago. But you know, postage is slow at the moment, so
Yes.
it'll come when it comes.
Oh,
But
yes.
I have purchased this from, can you pronounce that name?
Nadezhda Gavrilenkova. My friend's Polish. Maybe it's Polish or Russian, maybe?
I'm not sure, but it was her Etsy. She had actually stopped selling it, but I sent her a private message because I saw it on Pinterest. So my brother raises or has a hive up in his lifestyle block. So because boys are so hard to buy for, and we all know what he really wants is a cross stitch, I'm making him a bumblebee cross stitch for his birthday.
Nice.
It's just tiny, and I'm sure it will end up in the bottom of a drawer, but
it could just be a conversation starter.
exactly.
I do have some shopping because I'm not a big shopper, but of course I was watching Ellen of what's it called, Cross Stitch Power Hour, and she had this, and of course I just had to buy it because it was the beautiful combination of Jane Austen, and it's a quote by the American poet, and I've forgotten her name, the woman, Emily Dickinson. So I shall be miserable if I have not an excellent library, 1813. And I love Jane Austen, and this is all period drama-y looking, so I'm excited. This came a couple of days ago, and although I'm not a shopper, I also bought the linen for it. So this is from 123, and this is 36 count. So when I used to cross stitch, I hadn't heard of stitching with linen. It was all Ada. So I'm buying linen because I want to try out and see how it feels, and I'm really enjoying it. So I bought those 2, and this is not a purchase, but I also have downloaded this from Jacob. So this is the Black Lives Matter freebie.
And Jacob is on the
modern folk embroidery.
Yeah.
Yeah. And his designs are beautiful, and he's somewhere in Holland. I really love the style, I love the Quakers, and I love the sentiment. So I really would like to stitch this soon, and I think there is space, there's a blank space, so I'll do Black Lives Matter on one side of the round, and on the other side I'll find out what the saying is in Spanish, what they've translated it to, Black Lives Matter, and put that there as well, and have it somewhere prominent in my house so that people that come in know who I think. And I'm just using I'm gonna just use, is this DMC? Oh no, this is special to me. So this is from Peru. I went on holiday a couple of years ago, and because I know Peru, I know this is a good brand in Peru. So it's called Molino. So stitches from Latin America will be aware of Molino Tren. So it's kind of an off-whitey and not quite a red, so like a burgundy red. So I'm excited to use those. And I think that's it.
That might be our haul.
Yeah, that's it. Finished objects.
Finished objects. Right.
So recent finished objects, I don't have any.
I don't have any recent, so I thought I'd start
Yes,
off.
you do. Yes, you do.
Okay, yeah, I'll bring them out. So the first one I thought I'd bring out is one that I did when I think I must have been 12 or 13. So it's very early, and you can tell it's very early because it's framed, because I used to get them framed when Mum would pay for it.
Of course.
So I don't think, there we are. So it's cute. It's got a couple of charms. It's got backstitch. It's done, well, that is done on linen. I have no idea what size. But that was just a very early one I did. I think I just liked it because I used to love paper dolls, and it was really sweet.
Everybody loved paper dolls. They're the best thing.
Yeah. So my
It's
lucky,
very beautiful.
this is still at my mum's house. I have given it to her. You know, I don't want it in my house. So that's for
And your
Mum.
mum loves you, so
She does.
really appreciates it.
And
I'm sure.
bizarrely, I still have the pattern.
What does it say? Boo
Colour? I'm not sure.
Busilla? Something like this. Multilingual instructions included.
Ooh.
I used to love paper dolls. They're the best thing.
It's in Spanish. If you wanted to do it, you could read the instructions in Spanish.
I don't think you need instructions really from Cross-Stitch, but thank you.
So, as I said before, I was working on the Joyful World calendars. So I've actually completed February. And, yeah, it's teeny tiny. It was a lot of fun to do. And this is one I must have done possibly about 8 or 9 years ago.
No, because that was when we were doing the work craft group.
Yeah.
Because
were
my boss was doing that as well.
Oh, okay.
Same brand.
All right.
Yes, so less than 7 years ago.
All right, 7 years ago then.
Yes.
So it is a Isabella Harcourt. I can't pronounce her last name.
Accord Vautier.
She's so French.
I'm pretending that I know French. I can't really pronounce
It's a wee French one that I'm pretty sure it's still available. That turned out really well, and that was, I think I bought a kit.
And at the time, I wasn't really thinking about cross-stitch, so I wasn't impressed about your
I know.
1/1. But this is very impressive.
This is the first 1/1 stitch I ever did.
Very
And
beautiful.
those are my 3 completed.
Okay, so I've only been stitching for 2 weeks since I rediscovered it. So I brought a sampler that I made just before I got married. I made it over a year. It's on Ada because I didn't realize you could do anything else. And of course, I don't like to follow patterns, so I made it up as well.
Very impressive.
We were living in England at the time in a terraced house in the lovely Sheffield in the north of England. So I copied the style of the house, and this is my hubby in his cricket gear because he loves cricket. And that was the Victorian lady because I love the Victorian era. Little dog, that was Sam, I think. And then my daughter, my stepdaughter, was really into, I think that's netball, probably wrong. And my stepson was really into football, soccer. So he did that, and of course my thing about being bilingual was from way back. So that says "Till death do us part" in Spanish, and then I did it at the bottom as well. Is that what? Yes, but I got bored by then, so it's not cross stitch, it's back stitch because it's faster. And lots of sort of cute. I married very young, very young.
She was a child bride.
I kind of. So it's all kind of cutesy stuff, but I love it, and this has lived in our house forever, and it's framed with a beautiful walnut frame.
Does the
I'm very
music
happy with
notes,
it.
is it an actual tune, or is it just...
I think it was because I was a tomboy growing up, and my parents offered me piano lessons, and I was offended mortally. And then when I was 18, I was like, oh, I really like classical music. I should learn the piano. So I had piano lessons for 5 years. And so I was still having piano lessons when I got married. So I just copied something from a sheet. Please don't correct me if this is not a song at all. And I think one of the notes is inverted, so never mind. But yeah, it was just a picture of our life and what was important. And this was, I really wanted, because it's a blended family, I really wanted to include my stepchildren. So they're in the picture and they are at the bottom. That's their initials. And this is lovely. This is a very special thing to me.
Beautiful.
Perfect. That on Ada. There we go. So you've done, and we've done past projects. Okay, so that's the end of...
That's the end of the cross stitch bit.
Yeah, so
I'm a little unorganised today and I don't have any other crafts, but I know Catherine's got some great stuff to show.
I think I just brought 2 or 3 things to show. So, as I said, I'm learning to make jewellery. So I made this, and I've made earrings and bracelets and rings for my children. I also knit a lot, and again with knitting I don't really like to follow a pattern, so I look at pictures and I think, oh yeah, that'd be quite interesting. And so I'm making myself a tank top, which in New Zealand would be called a vest. And so I've got, you know, stitch books, so I find them quite handy to just be tank tops and no sleeves. So I just picked up a stitch pattern. This might be antlers, and I love this. I'm kind of obsessed with this, which is the Honeycomb Stitch. So I started out with having all over cables, and then I got bored with it, so I redid it and then changed a couple of the details. And this is recycled wool, so I like going charity shopping, so I bought a jumper, and I'd never really repurposed yarn, so I thought, oh, let's do that for an experiment. And then it sat in my pantry for a couple of years, and so I'm finally using that, and it's lovely sort of heathery blue. So I'm enjoying that, but I'm also trying to go slowly because I used to knit obsessively, and I have enough stuff. So I've decided that I can take things a bit more slowly. I don't have to rush. I made this cardigan, again my own pattern. And the last thing, I'm just going to show you a little peek of this, because this is at some point we'll tell you a little funny anecdote about Victoria saying that I couldn't hand make a quilt. So I quilt a lot and everything is done by hand, so I don't machine stitch. So I started a hexi quilt.
And it's huge.
It's a king size, and I started it maybe 5 years ago. Could it be 5 years ago? We were still working together.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're still working together, and these are all different fabrics that I've repurposed, or shirts and some K-facet fabrics as well from a workshop that I took, and all sorts of things. But I'm almost at the end, so at some point I will take a photo when it's extended. But I'm doing the quilting, and I do big stitch with pearl cotton. So I'm really enjoying this, but I'm ready to finish it. So I'm kind of unofficially hoping to finish it at the end of March.
Ooh.
But really, if I can get it finished by the end of this year, I'm going to be really happy. And the threads are special to me because I bought all of these threads when I was on holiday in Guatemala, because they have beautiful threads there. So another thing that will carry lots of memories and some good travel holiday stuff. That's it.
I think we've come to the end of our first Flosstube.
Yes, so
Maybe our first and only.
so we're hoping to do one every 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah, depending on how much work we actually get done.
Yes, because Victoria works full time and she has family locally, and I only work 4 days a week.
But you're busy.
But I'm busy, so we'll see how it goes. This has been a dream of mine for ages to do, but I've managed to convince her. So we're doing
She
it
asked me
together
last
now.
year, and I said I'd help her video it, but then all of a sudden I'm also on it. So
Yay!
great.
Okay, so yeah, we hope you like it,
Yeah.
and we'll
Yeah.
be back.
Ask us any questions. I'm sure we've offended people.
No, I don't know. You might be curious about New Zealand.
Yeah.
Not many people have come to New Zealand. It's a beautiful country. It's got really interesting history. It's got all the Maori history and culture. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
You can't come at the moment, but maybe in future we'll try and show you little snippets of life here as well. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week.
See you next time.
Next time. Bye.
Ka kite.